seeing an uptick in COVID-19 cases right now.
Yeah, this comes as many people are planning to get together and watch the Super Bowl this Sunday. And for more, we're joined with Dr. Timothy Quinn from Quinn Healthcare in Ridgeland. Hey, Dr. Quinn, how are you today?
Hey, doing great, doing great.
So there may be more than just Super Bowl snacks being passed around this weekend with this uptick in COVID. Do we need to get our masks back out for our Super Bowl parties?
That's true, and it's very unfortunate because, you know, people have started to relax a little bit and starting to just move around a little more freely, but the problem is COVID is still among us. Actually, my first patient this morning was positive for COVID. It was a young 17-year-old high school senior. But the take home is COVID is still with us now, and we have to understand that. And a lot of people are excited and have a lot of anticipation to go to Super Bowl parties. What we need to know is our risk factors. If we're someone with chronic medical conditions, if we're someone that's elderly, that means we're more vulnerable. So if we contract COVID, there's a higher probability that we could have serious problems. Also, if we live with someone that's elderly or with chronic medical conditions, we have to take that into consideration. So if you have these conditions, it's not a bad idea to go ahead and wear a mask at that party and practice social distancing. And if you haven't been vaccinated, get vaccinated. Although it takes a couple of weeks to kick in, let's stay up to date on our vaccinations and our boosters.
Good advice here. You're talking about how long people should be around friends and family before they get tested. When should they get tested if they want to go to a party? Should it be like 2 or 3 days out before the Super Bowl, or when should you suggest that they get a test? Just to double check.
Right. Well, right now, according to the CDC, they're only advising people to get tested if they have symptoms or if they've had recent exposure to someone with a known COVID infection. So if you're having some runny nose, you know, coughing, sneezing, anything that's suggestive that you might have COVID, definitely get tested before you go to an event with a lot of other people that could be exposed to you. Also, if you are exposed to someone that has COVID and you know you're going to an event, get tested. But it's not a bad idea to go ahead and get tested anyway. Although it's also important to make sure you're up on all your vaccinations, because if you do contract COVID, you have so much better of a chance of not getting severely ill.
Dr. Quinn, once everybody's together this weekend, we're all compact up around the TV and, you know, got the dip going around and stuff like that. What can be done to keep COVID from spreading once we're all ready together?
Right, that's a good question. A lot of my patients are asking that of me. Basically, number one, you need to know your risk factors. If you're someone that's elderly, if you have chronic medical conditions, as I spoke of earlier, then you're more vulnerable, meaning if you contract COVID, you have a higher chance of getting severely ill and or losing your life. Or if you have those people in your home that you live with, you don't want to contract COVID and take it back as a carrier and give it to them. So if you fall into that category, it's not a bad idea to go ahead and wear that mask if you go to the Super Bowl party, and then practice social distancing as much as you can. Wash your hands, try not to touch a lot of things that other people are touching, and just be mindful. But also just know if you do have any symptoms, get tested to make sure you don't have COVID. And it's probably not a bad idea to just go ahead and sit it out if you do have symptoms of an upper respiratory tract infection, because you could have a false negative test, meaning you have COVID, but it wasn't picked up. You just want to play it safe. But also just have a good time. If you end up staying home because you can't go to the party because you want to play it safe, just make sure you cheer for I'm not going to say it, but we know who's going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Oh, we all do, but we just can't say it on the air. That's all. Dr. Timothy Quinn, thank you for being with us today. Appreciate it, buddy.
For several weeks, there has been talk throughout the community on how to stop teen violence.
What's fun